Since the release of the previous episode 3 days ago, the field of space exploration has brought us a series of interesting events. Let's start by summarizing the recent events surrounding the Voyager 2 spacecraft, which is currently unable to communicate with Earth. The second topic will focus on bidding farewell to the Antares rocket in the 230+ version. The final topic will cover the launch of the Intelsat Galaxy 37 satellite on the Falcon 9 rocket. On July 21st, NASA sent a series of commands to the Voyager 2 spacecraft. However, due to an undisclosed glitch, the spacecraft turned its high-gain antenna away from Earth by 2 degrees. While 2 degrees might seem insignificant, in this case, it has significant consequences. The high-gain antenna sends data in a narrow beam, so its precise orientation towards Earth is crucial. With Voyager 2's antenna pointed away from Earth, ground control cannot send commands to the spacecraft, nor can they receive data on its measurements or the status of onboard systems. When Voyager fell silent, nobody knew if there was a major issue or if the spacecraft was still functional. Ground operators resorted to a true feat of engineering. They pointed several giant antennas of the Deep Space Network in the direction of the spacecraft and listened. Successfully detecting Voyager 2's carrier signal can be considered a small technical miracle. Although the signal is very weak and carries no useful data, it serves as proof that Voyager 2 is still operational. It's similar to hearing the heartbeat of someone unable to speak. Fortunately, this tricky situation has a solution. Voyager 2 undergoes a preventive reset multiple times a year, during which it realigns its antenna back towards Earth. Another reset is planned for October 15th, and after that, the spacecraft should resume communications. Prior to that, NASA will attempt a solution, sending a powerful signal to Voyager, instructing it to reset its antenna. If the attempt fails, there's no need to worry. They can wait for the aforementioned October reset. On August 2nd at 0:31 Universal Time, the final launch of the Antares 230+ rocket took place. It lifted off as usual from the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport in Virginia. Antares 230+ is retiring for 2 reasons. Firstly, its first stage engines RD-181 that were used on the rocket. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Western sanctions were imposed against Russia. One of Russia's reactions was to stop supplying its rocket engines, RD-180 and RD-181, to the USA. The stock of engines delivered before the invasion has now been depleted. Secondly, the first stage of the Antares rocket is partially manufactured in Dnipro, Ukraine, a plant that suffered unspecified damage during the Russian attack.
Added propellant for pressurization nozzle. Made it 100% thrust steady.
For the transport of Cygnus cargo spacecraft, the Falcon rockets will now take over, and in 2025, Antares is expected to make its debut in the new 330 version, utilizing only American technology, including the Miranda rocket engines from Firefly Aerospace. Antares 230+ completed its final mission flawlessly and delivered the Cygnus spacecraft to the correct orbit. The spacecraft could then proceed to the International Space Station, where it arrived 2 days later. The Cygnus spacecraft does not automatically dock with the ISS, so it needs to be captured by the robotic arm Canadarm2. This time, American astronaut Warren Hoburg operated the arm from inside the ISS. His task was to capture the spacecraft while the ground teams took care of its subsequent attachment to the station. The Cygnus brought a total of 3,785 kilograms of cargo to the station, which the crew will gradually unload over the coming weeks. On August 3rd at 5 o'clock Universal Time, 9 Merlin rocket engines were ignited, and the Falcon 9 rocket soared into the night sky from Florida's Space Launch Complex 40.
And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go Falcon, go Galaxy 37.
The first stage of the rocket was used for the 6th time, and once again, the landing presented no problems. It landed smoothly on the Just Read the Instructions drone ship, stationed 638 kilometers from the launch site. Additionally, both halves of the aerodynamic fairing were reused. One half flew for the 8th time, and the other, even more impressively, for the 10th time. Both halves landed in the water, where they were retrieved by the vessel named Bob.
There you have it, folks. The U.S.-owned subsidiary of...
With the help of 2 burns, the upper stage achieved an elongated orbit, reaching a highest point of 55,000 kilometers. This type of orbit makes it easier for the satellite to transition to its operational geostationary orbit. Following the necessary checks, the payload, the Intelsat Galaxy 37 communication satellite, was successfully deployed.
There we go, folks. With that confirmation of successful payload deployment,
the satellite weighed approximately 5 tons and will provide television broadcasting for North America, Puerto Rico, Alaska, Hawaii, and Mexico. This Maxar-built satellite is part of a long-term trend set by the United States Federal Communications Commission, which aims to gradually introduce 5G communication networks. However, the valuable frequency bands were initially allocated to communication satellites. Companies are required to vacate these frequencies by the end of 2025, allowing them to be used for the aforementioned 5G networks. To incentivize companies to expedite this process, the FCC offers a financial bonus if the frequencies are vacated by the end of 2023. In the case of Intelsat, which has built 7 new satellites, this bonus amounts to $4.8 billion. In addition to the name Intelsat Galaxy 37, you may also come across the name Galaxy 13R. This is because the new satellite is intended to replace the Galaxy 13 satellite at the 127th west longitude. Furthermore, you might encounter the name Horizons 4, as one of the communication beams on this satellite is named Horizons. Thank you for watching the 228th episode of Spaceflight News. If you enjoy our videos and don't want to miss any of them, consider subscribing. As our videos are now released once every 3 days, you can look forward to the next episode on Monday, August 7th.